Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Russ Riesinger. Class is back in session for Billings students beginning on August 24th. With less than 3 weeks to go, administrators are now scrambling to schedule students and teachers for both the online and in-person classrooms. Q2's Mitch Legge brings us an update from the school superintendent.
Billings parents are being asked to choose either online or in-person schooling for their student for the entire school year amid the COVID-19 pandemic. Thus far, the amount of students enrolled in online classes is far lower than the school district expected. School Superintendent Greg Upham told me today that he thinks that parents are waiting for more specifics about information regarding the entire school day.
There's also a challenge for our parents. They want to be able to see the school day, and they want to be able to see what courses are actually offered. We do have the curriculum out. We want to broadcast that more readily for parents. But the school day, we're wrapping up today with our administrators, and we still have to share it with our teachers.
As of Monday, about 800 students are signed up for online classes. The district expects about 5,000 students to be online this year, based on a parent survey conducted in July. August 14th is the soft deadline for parents to choose either online or in-person classes, just 10 days before the start of school.
I think they're watching the virus and trying to make the best decision, which I fully understand. But at the same time, our urgency is we have to staff this system. I realize the timeline is tight, and we will do the best we can for parents who are waiting to see what would be the best for their child.
There is some flexibility to allow for students who face challenges with one platform to switch to the other. Besides a vaccine or major breakthrough with COVID-19, the year-long commitment remains.
And I really don't believe, and I don't think any of us believe, that the virus is going to be gone on January 16th, which is the end of our first semester. So there is flexibility with that, and I want parents to breathe easier, but I don't want to give false information. So it's the logistics of the planning that made me make the statement, that required me to make the statement about please plan on a year if possible.
In Billings, Mitch Legge, MTN News.
Thanks, Mitch. The school district put together a frequently asked questions page about the process of getting kids back to school. To find it and the complete reopening plan, you can head to the district's website. That's billingsschools.org. This week, the Bozeman Public Schools superintendent recommended a way to get kids back in class, calling it a blended plan. MTN's Cody Boyer caught up with parents in downtown Bozeman today as they voiced their concerns.
It was the voices of not only parents, but as you can see behind me, their socially distanced children as well, rallying against the blended plan that was recommended by Bozeman Public Schools superintendent earlier this week.
Back to school! I feel that it's very important for our students to be back in school learning in the classroom.
Wearing masks, Bozeman parents appeared on the steps of the Wilson building, family after family. They included Carrie McClaury and her 2 elementary students, each holding signs, wanting more than 2 days of in-person classes.
I feel like the students need more consistency than that. Just getting back in the flow of things after being off of school for an extended time is difficult, not only for the kids, but for the teachers.
Back to school. You're sending kids into places where there's economic stresses from families, and they're going to feel that.
Carolyn Wiseman, who has 2 elementary students and an 8th grader of her own, also joined them. She gets distance learning, but looks to Belgrade's example. More class time, not less.
I can distance learn with my children. I stay home with my kids. You're exacerbating the education inequality between the lower class and the middle class, and it's really unfair.
Others like Heather Klein also joined their kids, citing another issue, lower to middle class family balance and parents having to work on dual incomes.
85% of parents that were surveyed wanted their kids to go back full time, and the fact that Bob Connors is recommending something completely in opposition of the majority is really disappointing to me.
Many car horns honked and the kids kept chanting, hoping for a positive step forward Thursday morning.
Hopefully there will be a good turnout tomorrow so the school board can see, and I know a ton of letters are being written.
In Bozeman, Cody Boyer, MTN News.
The school board still plans to meet again, opening the discussion that could lead to a final decision. The public schools in Wyoming are getting ready to head back to the classroom later this month. Each district has a Smart Start plan outlined for the new school year. The Wyoming Superintendent of Public Instruction told Q2 the districts will start the year with in-person learning.
every school district submitted plans so that they could pivot to different types of instruction, including like a blended learning style, if one school or one grade level or one activity needs to shut down, to a full state closure, to just normal in-person instruction with some caveats dictated by the health officer.
The superintendent, teachers, students, and parents were a part of that planning process. Wyoming Governor Mark Gordon held a news conference this afternoon. The governor saying that efforts Wyoming people are making is making a difference and that COVID cases have declined slightly over the last 2 weeks. Still, Gordon says he hoped the state would be in an even better position by now.
I do hope that we continue on this trend and that we can carry this into the fall. Couldn't be more critical at this time when we're thinking about education, getting started, making sure that parents have their kids going back to school and that our work environment really improves. Like most of the country, we continue to see most new cases in the younger age range, 19 to 29-year-olds making up 25% of the positive cases.
The governor says most of those cases can be traced to social events and gatherings. Wyoming added 32 new cases today. Montana Governor Steve Bullock will be holding a news conference tomorrow, 10:30 in the morning, to provide an update on COVID cases and discuss testing at the Montana University system. They'll be televising that live right here on Q2, as well as online at ktvq.com. Meanwhile, 2 more COVID deaths reported this morning in Montana, plus an additional 115 new cases. One of those deaths right here in Yellowstone County. A man in his 60s passed away at the hospital. The other death was reported in Richland County. It's the 28th death so far in Yellowstone County. The state has now seen 66. The state's total is nearly 4,500 cases, with more than 1,500 of those still active. Officials with the Cascade City County Health Department say they've identified an outbreak of 6 COVID-19 cases in connection with a long-term facility there. Officials are citing HIPAA regulations for not releasing the name of the facility or any other details. Similar situations occurred at facilities in both Shelby and in Billings. In both those cases, the facilities issued public statements about their situations. In Carbon County, health officials are requiring residents to wear masks, modifying the statewide mask directive. Officials say many of their positive cases are linked to Yellowstone County, which has the highest number of cases in the state. Although the mandate mirrors Governor Bullock's July 15th mask requirement, those with the county say they will not automatically lift the order if the number of COVID-19 cases drops below 4 active cases. Currently, Carbon County has 12 active cases. The University of Montana has come up with an idea meant to keep students and faculty safe on campus this fall. Earlier today, volunteers gathered to put together 15,000 health fall Griz kits. The kits include 2 reusable masks, a cleaning rag, disinfectant spray, and hand sanitizer. UM says the idea is for students to bring the kits with them when they walk around campus. There will also be sanitizer and disinfectant refill stations around campus. School officials say this is just one thing they're doing to make sure the college is a safe place to be this fall.
Just wanted to give some resources and tools to make the transition back to campus and face-to-face classes a bit easier, and give the students some supplies that they might not necessarily have and get them geared up at the beginning of fall.
Brill says students are excited to return this fall, and these resources will make it easier for them. Earlier this week, the U.S. Census Bureau announced it will stop its counting efforts for the 2020 census on September 30th. That's a month earlier than originally planned. And for Montana, that's not good news. Thousands of Montanans are likely to go uncounted, and state officials are asking the feds to reconsider the deadline. MTN's Mike Dennison has more.
As of this week, only 56% of Montana households had responded to the 2020 census, one of the lowest response rates in the nation. Montana has a plan to reach those who haven't replied, but that plan was based on an October 31st deadline. If that deadline is sooner, state officials are worried Montana's count will be inaccurately low, and that means federal aid and other benefits will be cut short for the next decade.
It is very important that we get an accurate count, because if we don't get an accurate count, that just means those dollars aren't going to come here, and it's going to go someplace else, to some other state.
The Census Bureau announced Monday it's stopping the count on September 30th, so it can meet a December 31st deadline for getting the numbers compiled. Both of Montana's U.S. Senators and Governor Bullock have demanded that the Bureau reverse its decision. Montana also had hoped to gain a new congressional seat next year because of its population growth the past 10 years. But if the count is incomplete, officials say that gain is unlikely. Cooney, who chairs the State Complete Count Committee, says the census doesn't mail notices to post office boxes or rural route addresses. That's as many as 25% of Montanans. But the coronavirus pandemic has restricted other efforts to reach those who didn't get a mailed notice. The state hired several groups to conduct outreach, but they expected to have more time. And if people don't contact the census by the deadline?
They're not counted. It's just that simple. They don't exist in the eyes of the census. It means that, if one person is not counted, Montana loses about $20,000 over a 10-year period. And when you start adding that up, so if it's 10 people, 20 people, 100 people, 1,000 people who don't get counted, starts to add up to be real money for the state of Montana.
Reporting from Helena, Mike Dennison, MTN News.
And if you haven't been counted yet, you can call the Census Bureau at 844-330-2020 or contact them online at my2020census.gov. Well, with the November election less than 3 months away and the big race is too close to call, time to talk politics. MTN's lead reporters and political insiders will do just that. Thursday night at 6:30 in a special Facebook Live edition, Montana Politics 2020. Veteran anchor and reporter Jay Cohn is joined by MTN Chief Political Reporter Mike Dennison, Democratic consultant Eric Stern, and Republican insider Ashley Strong. How are the races shaping up for U.S. Senate, U.S. House, and Governor? Who's got the upper hand? The experts will weigh in and mix it up. It's your invitation to join the conversation Thursday night, August 6th at 6:30 on the KTVQ Facebook page. Well, Stillwater County Sheriff says the fire that scorched more than 2,000 acres near Park City was human-caused and has been ruled an accident now. Fire crews have reached 100% containment on the Falling Star fire. Local fire crews from Park City and Columbus will monitor the hot spots for the next couple of days. GoFundMe account's been set up to help a Lockwood family that lost their home to fire. This while investigators continue to determine what caused that fire. Tuesday's fire started in the garage in Tanglewood Lane before spreading to a trailer, then to the main home. Everyone did make it out safely, but the house is considered a total loss. Yesterday, we shared with you a story about a big plane that landed here in Billings. It's the Russian Antonov cargo plane, one of the largest in the entire world. Landed here to pick up a Chinook helicopter from Billings Flying Service. That helicopter was loaded onto the plane last night for a year-long firefighting mission to Indonesia. Now, this morning, our cameras were there to see the big bird take off with not only the Chinook inside, but a team of firefighters for the Billings Flying Service and supplies to last them a year out in the field. The crew will be flying first to Alaska, then on to China before finally landing in Indonesia sometime in the next 48 hours, and we certainly wish them the best of luck on their mission. Still to come on tonight's MTN 9 o'clock news, the show will go on with sneak peeks over. Montana Fair officially kicks off tomorrow night. I'll tell you about that. But first, Bob McGuire's in with your full 7-day forecast.